question is the answer itself. And Luang Po used the questions instead of answering. In your study of Dhamma, Nibbana exists. Nibbana is not even Nibbana itself. They don't know what to do if they don't study, the monks. It's the karmic difficulties. Having used to reject the words of the Buddhas, therefore they have to study. It's karmic difficulties in itself, in that kind of study. This is great compassion. Is the extreme in practices, mighty force by purifying evilly for samsara through the extinction and the emptiness for everything. This is the ultimate already in practices through the great compassion. This is called practicing for blessing, not for grasping anything. This is not to practice for perfection. It is for blessing. Boundlessness is the great compassion that is tremendously sharing. It is not practicing for attainment. Instead, it's a great compassion, the practice through great compassion. Just listen. Listen to Mahaparami. Listen well. Center of Buddhas. From the past to the future. It's at this time now, within the conclusion for the samsara at the moment, for every Buddha era. Even the future, the past is like this. Like now, here, just listen. Only listening. To enable to be clear with the essence, you have to listen. Even you have titi, nothing is going to be left. It's going to be refined. Even there is argument, there will be a refinement. Ceasing will be there by itself. Ending will be there by itself. Nothing is left. Listen to that which has nothing to do with titi. Even you use titi, nothing like titi will be left. It will be purified by itself. Automatically. Just at whatever time, but whatever that is there, rejection or acceptance, it will be purified totally. because it's not by verbal. Verbal is just made up. The essence is already purified. The argument is just on the surface. There might be titi verbally, but the essence has been purified already. It's done. This is not about arguments. Instead, there is purification through the extinction and the emptiness. Otherwise, it's impossible to bless the animals. This has nothing to do with being humble or not, bowing down or not. Uninvolved within the uninvolvement itself will purify all and everything without traces. By the anupap, by the multi-force, it has nothing to do with having faith or not, being conscious or not. It has nothing to do with who you are or where you're from or whatever you are. The anupap, mighty force will purify without traces instantly. So listen directly. Ending will be directly accordingly. By sharing the anupap of the mighty force, it's like all the beings are near Luang Po already. There is no need to create any cause to be near. Purification already happens by itself. This is not going to be in the way of following. Instead, it will be blessing accordingly, following blessing, ending accordingly, following ending. Not like before. The essence is different. The form of following is the same, but the essence is different. What is the following? Following blessing, following ending. What is it about following? Following the great compassion, ending accordingly for samsara. Go ahead boundlessly without being comfort within contemplation, within concentration. Let's not be deludedly lost within equanimity, within the comfort zone, in all that states of mind, in the contemplation, in the samadhi, in equanimity, being deludedly lost in that comfort zone, or in any states of mind from all the achievements. All that intangible achievement from sacrifices, from giving from all the metta. So don't be lost in such comfort zone. It's not about anything. Continue to proceed boundlessly, not to be limited to certain extent, so that there will be great compassion of the purification to the emptiness. That is the great practice of the great compassion. Not to practice for achievement of perfection. Listen well. Because practicing for perfection is for grasping. That is a great suffering. If practicing for attainment for the perfection, samudaya also is greater accordingly. Suffering is greater accordingly. Therefore, with everything not attached to the non-attachment itself, all the same with everything. That which has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment. Non-attachment is on its own all the same. That which has nothing to do with attachment or non-attachment. That which is not relevant to being deluded or not. That which is not relevant to even the uninvolvement itself. Continue without limits. Open up boundlessly, constantly. It's not about having any identification within the boundlessness. It's not about anything within anything. Go on without limits in a way that has nothing within it. Within anything. It's not about anything within anything. Not about anything within yes or no. Then it will turn into the purification of the emptiness for samsara, beyond the brightness. Proceed through the boundlessness in the way that has no identification within it. Purify to the extinction and the emptiness. This is not just to soften down samsara. It's beyond that. Softening the karmic emotions or karmic difficulties or whatever. Beyond it. is no need to separate mind from anything. No grasping on its own proceeds simultaneously with everything. No need to separate Nibbana from knowing or not knowing, or from anything whatsoever. Not attached to the non-attachment itself proceeded simultaneously with everything. There will be automatic purification of Nibbana. Total cutting, don't let there be any entanglement within the mind. No grasping for the non-grasping itself completely. Any states of mind just don't grasp themselves. The mind doesn't grasp for the mind itself. No grasping for the non-grasping itself completely. Be resolute to help samsara proceed simultaneously. This is a great compassion. Be one with everything, with the essence. Mind from mind itself is one with everything, so that there will be the purification of extinction and emptiness simultaneously. Uninvolved within the uninvolvement itself is one with everything. This will be simultaneous purification altogether, without separating great compassion from samsara. This is purifying the purification itself. Is the same as uninvolved within the uninvolvement itself. It purifies everything simultaneously with all things. Purify the purification itself. Be resolute to help samsara continuously. No grasping for the non-grasping itself. Step back from the stepping back itself completely. And with everything, this is not about stepping back from anything, because that is like pressurize oneself. Step back from the stepping back itself is with everything simultaneously. There will not be any pressure within. No grasping for the non-grasping itself is one with everything simultaneously. Otherwise, there will be a delusion to grasp for the conclusion. Just grasp for the conclusion is not true conclusion because it's not to be shared. That is not to be grasped. Then there is no pressure. The conclusion that is grasped for oneself is a pressure. There is a grasping mind that is overlaying. In order to not grasp for the conclusion itself, it has to be shared with everything, and involved within the involvement itself is concluded for everything simultaneously, for blessing. How can there be no that is sustaining no? Let's end burdens. Let's end all concerns. Give up even the giving up itself. End all burdens.